Okay, on this episode of Heartbeat Optional, we're making some corn whiskey. This is just cracked corn from an agway, pretty cheap stuff. 10 pounds is less than $5. We use a little bit of rolled corn in there also, and we're also going to be using a little bit of flaked rye. You want the corn to be added in at 165 degrees. That'll really bring out the starches. It'll just get really starchy and hard to mix, but later on it'll come a little bit easier. Use a propane burner, and here comes the rye. We add 1 pound of rye per both batches. Each batch is about 6 gallons, so we have 12 gallons of liquid to start with, and when we're all said and done, we'll have about a half a gallon of corn whiskey. So once the rye is in, the temperature dropped down to like 155, and then around 152 we add in the 6-row barley malt. This is just from a brew store also. And once you add this in, it starts working its magic. The malts will start eating the starches and producing sugars, and it gets a lot easier to stir, and you can actually taste the sugar. If you stick your finger in it, it tastes pretty good and smells pretty awesome too. Here I am just transferring to the fermenting tanks. Let it cool down after this before you pitch your yeast. Your yeast package will tell you what you want to pitch it at. I'm using an Alamaze yeast. It's a distiller's yeast, a Gert yeast, and we're adding some spring water here to top it off. Always good to have. So it's 6 gallons for each fermenter. So I want you to
Press down.
press down and tell me what you think it smells like. What it reminds you of. Get right in. No, you need to get right in.
I'll get
on
right
that.
into it, but
yeah.
what I'm saying is, I feel. I'll just do it. All right, that hummed in my face, but it's a mild, sweet flavor. I don't know what it reminds me of. I want to try the other one and see if I can get anything off it. It smells like alcohol.
Now they say the best way to record acoustic instruments is in a bathroom, whether it be a voice or an acoustic guitar, or in my case a saw. So I'm going to try out this theory. Yep, still sounds like shit. Listen to that. It just shattered inside. You're a killer.
of propane tanks.
Okay, here I'm demonstrating how to pack the column for your pot still. You roll up meshed copper and just pack the column. This will help with some of the heat dispersion and help clean the product. Makes it a little bit different taste. Also, it's more so it has that traditional pot still of a copper pot taste to it. So a couple rolls of that. You can pack the whole thing if you want to. The column connects to the cap itself. Now what I'm using is the column is from a company called Brewhouse, and the milk can and the cap are from Mile High Distilling. I just like the design of both companies, and they work well together. It's a 2-inch unit, so as long as you keep everything in the same diameter, it should work fine. Now, after 24 hours, I take it off the grain, as they say. Basically, I use this food processing strainer for like restaurants to strain large vats of spaghetti. And this is going to be taking it off the grain and just leaving the liquid behind. The grain itself is pretty much spent at this point. You can use it as, you know, to feed cattle and things like that as a filler. It's not going to really do anything. You could probably use it like a spent grain to make bread or something, but it's corn, so it's not like you would if you were brewing beer. We just ended up throwing it in the woods. Just let it trickle out. I use my hands because once you distill, you're pretty much getting rid of all the impurities anyway, so it doesn't matter. Sanitary, right? I probably have bug spray on my hands.
I can't imagine doing this kind of stuff with beer.
Alright, after 3 days of fermenting, you can transfer it into your kettle, and this is where it becomes tricky, because once you hook it up and you purify it and you separate the alcohol from the liquid itself, or the water, you are now bridging the gap of being illegal. You want to heat it up to a certain temperature. I'm not going to get into specifics. You can look all that up yourself. Basically, alcohol is lighter than water, so it'll evaporate quicker at a lower temperature. You want the alcohol to go up the column, and with these condensers, the cool water will make the vapor turn back into a liquid, and like rain, it'll just trickle down into your product jar. Now the first 50 milliliters that comes out, that's the bad stuff. That's like rubbing alcohol. Now some people have told me that they love drinking rubbing alcohol and trying to get drunk, but they're fucking idiots. And but whatever. First 50 milliliters, toss it, and then after that, you're good to go. That's good. I'm gonna open that up. What are we looking at? 55. Wait, whoa. I don't want it to fall back to me. Okay.
Chop down tree. Chop.